Will we have another round of stimulus? That seems to be a lot of concern, a lot of questions that some of you guys been commenting down below and just reaching out, asking me, we haven't seen a stimulus update from you in quite some time. Would you mind updating us, whether it's good or whether it's bad? We just want to hear from you. Now, I know that I haven't done one of these updates in a while, and as you guys know, the reason for that is because we've been covering other topics here on this channel. We've been covering crypto, we've been covering business, we've been covering entrepreneurship, real estate updates. We've even been talking about forming up an LLC, how to fix your credit, the type of credit cards that you should be getting if you want to build your credit. So this channel's been geared really around entrepreneurship, business, and just getting your money right and getting your investment game on point. Now, with that in mind, I don't want to forget about the rest of us that have still been waiting on another round of stimulus. So in this video, we're going to be covering what are the chances, really what are the odds, and what has to happen for there to actually be a fourth round of stimulus or fourth stimulus check. Also, some of the stimulus, or really the unemployment stimulus, that's going to start coming out, that really started coming out yesterday, when you can start expecting that. And then I also wanted to talk about the student loans and where that kind of sits, because I know that that's also been a topic of discussion that a lot of people have been wanting to hear more about. Okay, so first things first, let's first talk about the unemployment checks. The unemployment checks, which a lot of people are calling it a stimulus. I guess you can see how that kind of gets called a stimulus, even though it's not an actual stimulus check. But with those checks coming out, they actually started going out yesterday. So if you had unemployment and you received up to, again, that first $10,200, then you can start expecting a check anywhere between $3,000 to right around $1,000. If you filed single, if you filed married filing jointly, then that would be upwards of $2,000. So the way that it's going to work is the first batch is going to be physical checks that are already being sent out. So maybe you've already received your check by the time you watch this video. Maybe you can check your mailbox after you finish watching the video and it's there waiting for you. If you filed single for, I'd say, the next week or two, and then right after week 2, week 3, we're going to start seeing another batch of stimulus checks, or really unemployment stimulus checks, so to speak, start coming out toward the toward the end of June. Now, segueing over into student loans. When it comes to student loans, that kind of becomes a tricky situation, because and by the way, we made a full video on this. We had President Joe Biden, who built his campaign on some type of student debt relief, right? Canceling up to at least $10,000, which would eliminate right around 30% of debt for all student borrowers right now, college borrowers who have some type of student loan right now. $10,000 would eliminate 30% of those who are burdened by that. And then if they were to go up to as high as where Chuck Schumer wants it, it would really go up to right around 80% if they were to go ahead and remove $50,000 worth of student loan debts. Here's why I bring that up. Because we have the Higher Education Act. And in the Higher Education Act, it actually states that the president has power in order to be able to put an executive order in place for any type of student loan debt forgiveness. But that power hasn't been executed. I bring that up because that kind of coalesces and ties in hand with what we have now, which are these stimulus checks. Now, to put this into perspective, right now, we have a plan that's going to be presented, and that's kind of being worked up right now, that's going to be presented in Congress. And the detail that you need to keep in mind is that there is one budget budget reconciliation left. So one budget reconciliation left for the year that Democrats can use in their favor to pass another round of stimulus, or to pass a bill as they want, kind of like what we had most recently, where they kind of just cut out the Republicans and they just used that budget reconciliation, right? That's important to know, because if there's only one left, then this means that they had to have a nearly perfect execution in order for them to pass what they want to pass in this new bill that they're looking to get done. Obviously, it's part of the Build Back Better plan. In there, we have some highlights like some free college tuition. We have healthcare as well as dental provision. We have in that package as well as some aid to help build and create more jobs. And speaking about jobs, there was about, this is according to the jobs report for the month of May, we had 585,000 new jobs that were created. Now, that number is important to note as well. And this is why I wanted to bring all of this together, because I know that we kind of see different things out there on YouTube and out there in the media. These are things that you really want to keep an eye on as you're really starting to think, okay, is there going to be a fourth stimulus check? Is there not? Should I not hold my breath? Should I at least consider it? In my opinion, it's going to be at least an 80% that there may not be a stimulus check versus a 20% that there may be. Up to maybe 2 weeks ago, I would have felt a little 50-50 about this. And again, this is just my opinion because a lot of you guys were asking me, Irv, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think it's not? And I'm just being candid with you, right? Up to this point, I would have said 50-50, right? Maybe leaning a little bit more on it could happen. But after seeing all of these stats coming out, on top of obviously the jobs report coming out, meaning that there's more jobs being created, we now have a labor crisis. And I made a full video on that as well, and I'll go ahead and link it here so you guys can check that out as well. That number right there is something that you also want to tally up because we have over 27 states and counting that have already cut out the unemployment benefit boost from their state's programs. So you're only getting the state, you're not getting the boost. The reason for that is because states and governors and mayors feel that people aren't returning back to work because there's still too much aid and too much dependency on some of those programs. I mean, if you look down the street right now, at least where I live, kind of like what I mentioned in that video, is I am seeing a lot of hiring signs. I am seeing a lot of help wanted signs. I am seeing, though, quite a bit of people who were able to build some of their businesses and kind of pick that up during the pandemic, which I think it's kudos to them. We actually saw the highest amount of new business applications reported in 2020. But we also did see that right around 77-78% of jobs average wages were replaced by the unemployment benefits, where you can kind of get that pendulum swing and kind of the yin to the yang, which again, it's what we covered in that video. I don't want to rehash that up, but I at least wanted to introduce that to you. With only one budget reconciliation left, could they sneak one more, let's say, stimulus check in there? They possibly could. But could that also kind of turn some Democrats off that were already against it right around March earlier this year for that $1,400 stimulus check that we just received? Yes. So they need to be, and when I say they, I'm talking about Democrats are going to be very strategic with what they put into that proposal and what they get passed through that budget reconciliation, because they are seeing it as a one and done approach. And if it means leaving out these stimulus checks, and if it means leaving out these student loans and maybe having President Biden pick that back up on the back end through, again, that Higher Education Act, then that's most likely what they could end up doing. But either way, you guys wanted the truth, so there you have it. Again, that's my opinion, and that's where I kind of see this thing going. I didn't want to sugarcoat it for you, just because I hate seeing someone's expectations set at the wrong standard. So that way you can kind of brace yourself for what's to come and not be caught off guard, and so you can plan accordingly. So there you have it. If you found value in this content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Join the official community. Don't forget that anytime I'm not posting on here, I'm posting over on the podcast channel, which a lot of you guys have already joined over on the Inside with Irv show. So I appreciate all of you guys that have been checking us out over there. If you like what we have going on over here, you'll love what we have going on over there. Once again, I appreciate you guys watching. Until next time, everyone, I will see you in the next video.